Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Hit the bell, subscribe. We have new content coming out daily. Make sure you subscribe. God bless you guys. 18 USC 2381. Whoever owing allegiance to the United States levies war against them or adheres to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort within the United States or elsewhere, is guilty of treason and shall suffer death or shall be imprisoned not less than 5 years or fined under this title, but not less than $10,000. So it's death or a $10,000 fine. It's just so funny the way it's worded. Or shall be incapable of holding any office under the United States. Punishable by death. What Hunter Biden and what Joe Biden have done is outright naked treason. One of the reasons, and I truly believe this, that they're going after Donald Trump so ferociously is they want to project the very crimes that they have done. This is if you read the literature, for example, I think there's a website, yeah, that's right. There's a website called Beautiful Trouble, and it's called a toolbox for revolution. If you're not familiar with it, you guys should check it out. It tells you a lot. They have trainings, workshops, they have flashcards that teach children how to become revolutionaries, right? If you go to beautifultrouble.org, not that I'm promoting it or any way, you'll realize exactly how they operate. And one of the things they do is stay angry, but also it's always offense. Always offense. Literally, the book is called Beautiful Trouble, a toolbox for revolution. And it's the accumulated wisdom of decades of creative protest. And one of the things that the kind of philosophical titans of the postmodern left believes is you must always play offense. So you're guilty of a bunch of crimes, indict your political opponent. You're worried that the government's going to come after you, use the government first. Offense, 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 offense. And the left does it as a projection exercise. They do it as a veneer. They do it as a way to prevent. Because if they're constantly playing offense, we then have to play defense. This is why Republicans and conservatives have to reassume a posture of we have to play offense. The only way is through. The only way forward is through. Zero retreat, zero surrender. Republicans don't think like that. We're too busy having Lindsey Graham tell us that the greatest man that God ever created was Joe Biden. We're too busy having governor, like the governor of Utah, talk about how great trans people are. Right? Too busy having Governor Republican talking about chemical castrating kids. We got a lot of work to do in the Republican Party. We're going to take over the Republican Party as a grassroots Republican Party. It's happening in real time. It's really positive. However, we got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. But I want to also just state the obvious. If Joe Biden had 24 phone calls with Hunter Biden, and there's probably even more than that, I guarantee you Barack Hussein Obama knew. I've said this for quite some time. All roads lead to Obama. All roads. This guy is still running the government. You know, kind of growing up in Chicago, I know a lot of people that know him well. Obama's an evil person. He has been for quite some time. He's cunning. He's craven. He's calculated. Our saving grace is that he's unbelievably lazy. He's a lazy person, thankfully. Just doesn't work very hard. If Obama would have worked harder, he would have done a lot more damage to the country, thankfully. Valerie Jarrett. All these people. Valerie Jarrett was in there from the first day of the White House to the last day of the White House. And you remember when Barack Obama said that he would okay kind of running a shadow government. Just like Biden, Obama's persona is basically built on lies, carefully preserved by a propaganda class. Now, there's a lot of questions about Obama's personal life. We'll put that aside. What is more important is that Obama totally knew that Joe Biden was selling out the country, and he was okay with it. And this is not the only country he was selling out. Obama went weak on China largely because he gave the China portfolio to Joe Biden. Hunter Biden flies on Air Force Two to China and lands a massive multi-billion-dollar deal into his fund. That's just another example of the treason. The treason. We have executed or put people in prison for far less than what Obama and what Joe Biden have done. Well, Joe Biden more specifically, Obama was he was almost certainly aware. But it's projection. Now, Donald Trump is facing 400 years in prison. For what? For document retention stuff? For giving a speech on January 6th? For a mob gone wrong of how many federal agents were involved there? I don't know. Trump has late fees on library books and jaywalking, And Joe Biden is selling the United States out to our enemies. I don't say this part lightly now as I'm transitioning to the other argument. I don't find joy or delight in this. But the amount of soul suppression that the media and Democrats have engaged in is shocking for even me. You see, I like to think that there's breaking points and limits. Like eventually you say, all right, we're done. Democrats have done this before, whether it be with Jesse Jackson Jr. or John Edwards, and now it actually is coming into picture that those people actually didn't commit crimes impermissible. They needed to just get rid of those people. They needed to make them disappear politically. Makes you think, really makes you think, doesn't it? Like what they're doing with RFK Jr. He has thoughts that are unacceptable. We must crush him. He has opinions that we can't allow to be spoken. We must crush him. The media, these people have suppressed their soul, suppressed their ethics. There are no ethics. To such an extent, there is no media coverage of this. Instead, it is the opposite. We played this clip last week, and again, I don't become speechless easily. This is Congressman Goldman from New York, who is born on third, thought he hit a triple, heir to the Levi jeans fortune. Went to Stanford. I think he went to either Yale or Harvard. Highly educated, no wisdom. Listen to how the media and your lawmakers are covering the active investigations into Hunter and Joe Biden. Play cut 20.
So there is actually no basis to say that this is somehow a political interference or a weaponization, as they say, of the Department of Justice. In fact, based on my experience, I'm shocked that Hunter Biden was even charged with these crimes. So the fact that he's even taking a plea deal, in my mind, demonstrates a two-tiered system of justice against Hunter Biden.
That's the new talking point. The government is rigged against Hunter Biden. It's perfectly fine. I mean, what Dan Goldman is basically admitting is that this is standard operating procedure, SOP, of the American Democrat Party. How dare you question flying around the world and receiving millions of wire transfers? What does he say from my experience? Hold on, Dan Goldman. Are you trying to tell me that Democrat politicians have been doing this for decades? Of course he is. It's just that the Bidens got caught because they were sloppy, because the bagman, a.k.a. Fredo, was a cokehead who left a laptop at a laptop repair shop. Typically, when you sell out the country, your bagman is not a flaming idiot. What Dan Goldman is saying is that the DOJ has known about this activity between many different crime families. The Clintons have done this. The Clintons were way more sophisticated than the Bidens. They at least set up some sort of alleged fraudulent charitable foundation to launder the money through. You go through family after family. The American ruling class families that have set up international patronage deals with our enemies or our pseudo-enemies to be able to pay themselves off to live elevated lifestyles, it's one family after the other. What Dan Goldman is telling you, the buried lead is, this happens all the time.